Grab a seat. Your fear of the dark isn't childish, it's ancient. Today, we're breaking down why your brain still thinks the dark is trying to kill you. Let's get into it. Tonight, when the sun goes down, you're going to feel it. A small tightening in your chest, a pull to check the locks, switch on a light, glance over your shoulder one more time than you need to. You'll tell yourself it's nothing. But the real answer is far stranger than nothing. Your brain is not reacting to tonight. It's reacting to a night that happened 300,000 years ago. Here's the thing about fear. It isn't designed for the present. It's designed for the past. Specifically, it's designed for a version of Earth where the moment the sun dropped below the horizon, you became prey. Think about that for a second. Not metaphorically, literally prey. For most of human history, darkness wasn't an absence of light. It was a presence of teeth, claws, and things that could see you long before you could see them. Lions, hyenas, leopards, snakes. All of them more active, more dangerous, and far better equipped for the dark than you were. Your ancestors didn't have flashlights. They didn't have streetlights, locks, or smartphones with battery percentages ticking down. What they had was a fire, if they were lucky, and a brain that had been sculpted by an unthinkably long process to treat the dark as the single most dangerous time of day. And that brain is the exact same brain sitting inside your skull right now. Evolution doesn't delete old software. It just builds new software on top of it. So while you live in a world of locked doors, security cameras, and porch lights on timers, the ancient alarm system underneath all of that hasn't gotten the memo. It's still running, still scanning, still waiting for a sound in the bushes that, statistically, almost certainly never comes. Researchers have a name for this mismatch. Evolutionary psychologists call it an evolutionary lag, where the environment changes far faster than the brain that has to live in it. Your environment changed in a few thousand years. Your nervous system needed a few 100,000. So what actually happens inside your head when the light fades? It starts with your eyes. As light levels drop, your visual system shifts from cone-based vision, which is sharp and full of color, to rod-based vision, which is more sensitive to movement and shape, but far less precise. Suddenly, the edges of things blur. Shadows seem to shift. A coat on a chair can, for 1/2 second, look like something crouching. That half second matters more than you'd think. A landmark study by psychologist Joseph Ledoux on the neuroscience of fear found that threat signals can bypass your conscious thinking entirely. Before your rational brain even registers what it's looking at, a structure deep in your brain called the amygdala has already sounded the alarm. Heart rate up, muscles tense, breath shortens. This is sometimes called the low road. It's a shortcut. Stimulus comes in, danger is assumed, body reacts, and only afterward does your thinking brain catch up and go, oh, it's just a coat. But here's the strange part. That half second of fear already happened. Your body already prepared for a fight or a sprint that was never needed, and it didn't ask your permission first. Why would evolution build something so trigger-happy? Because in the environment your brain was built for, a false alarm cost you almost nothing. You tensed up, you looked around, nothing was there. You relaxed. Mildly annoying maybe, but a missed alarm. A real predator that you dismissed as probably nothing, that cost you your life, and possibly the lives of your children. So natural selection didn't optimize for accuracy. It optimized for survival. A brain that's wrong about danger 100 times but right once, at exactly the moment it matters, will pass on its genes. A brain that's calm and accurate but slow to react on that one occasion where it truly matters does not. You are, quite literally, descended from the nervous, jumpy ones. The ones who startled at shadows lived long enough to have children. The ones who shrugged off the rustling in the grass, more often than not, did not. Now think about how this plays out today. You're lying in bed. The house creaks. In daylight, a creak is just a creak, the normal sound of wood contracting as the temperature drops. At night, in the dark, that same creak can feel like a presence in the hallway. Nothing about the sound changed. What changed is the information available to your brain. In daylight, your eyes are doing most of the threat assessment. At night, your eyes go quiet, and your ears and your imagination take over. And your imagination, shaped by hundreds of thousands of years of the dark equals danger, is not a neutral narrator. It's a worst-case scenario generator. There's a well-known concept in psychology called prepared learning, studied extensively by researcher Martin Seligman. The idea is that certain fears are far easier for humans to acquire than others, because evolution has, in a sense, pre-wired the wiring. You don't need to be taught to fear snakes, heights, or the dark. Those fears come preloaded, ready to be activated by even a small trigger, while other, statistically far more dangerous things, like electrical outlets or fast-moving cars, require actual learning before we fear them properly. Your brain came with darkness fear factory installed. And it isn't just about predators anymore. Researchers studying anxiety have found that the dark doesn't just hide threats from your eyes, it also strips away social cues. In daylight, you can see other people's faces, their expressions, whether they're a threat or not. At night, all of that information disappears, and your brain, deprived of data, fills the gap with its own assumptions, usually the worst ones. This is part of why isolation and darkness so often combine to create a feeling of dread that's hard to logically dismantle. You can tell yourself, rationally, that nothing has changed since the sun went down. The walls are the same, the doors are the same, the neighborhood is the same. But your brain isn't interested in your logic. It's interested in pattern matching against an ancient database. And in that database, dark plus alone equals danger, full stop. Here's where it gets even stranger. Some researchers have proposed that this isn't just about predators in the literal sense. The fear of darkness may also be deeply tied to a fear of the unknown more broadly. Darkness is the ultimate uncertainty. You can't verify what's there. You can't gather information. And human brains, it turns out, often find uncertainty more distressing than a known negative outcome. In other words, it's not just that something might be in the dark. It's that you cannot know whether something is in the dark, and your brain treats that unresolved question itself as a threat. This helps explain something almost everyone has experienced. The walk from the car to the front door at night feels different from the same walk during the day, even when you know, intellectually, that the distance hasn't changed, the neighborhood hasn't changed, and the odds of anything happening are close to zero. What's changed is your access to information. And your brain treats a lack of information as a kind of danger in itself. So every time you flick on a light just to check, every time you feel your shoulders relax the moment a room is illuminated, you're not being irrational. You're running a program that has worked, on average, for an enormous span of time. The discomfort you feel in the dark isn't a glitch. It's a feature built for a world that, for you personally, mostly no longer exists. And that's the strange part. The world changed. The threats changed. Predators capable of stalking you through the night have, for most people reading this, been gone for generations. But the alarm system inside you didn't get a software update. It's still running on the original code, written in an environment of fire pits and open plains and things with teeth in the grass. Which brings us back to tonight. When the sun goes down and you feel that small, familiar unease, that's not your modern brain malfunctioning. That's a message sent across hundreds of thousands of years from every ancestor who survived a night they probably shouldn't have. A message that says, simply, stay alert, just in case. You'll probably still check the locks. You'll probably still turn on a light in the hallway before walking down it. And now, at least, you'll know exactly why. It isn't fear of the dark. It's a memory of the dark, carried in your body, waiting for tonight to come.